Hey guys, this is Clinton, and I wanted to record a video today about a topic that is very, very special and near and dear to my heart, and that is about the word narcissist. Now, one thing you guys have to know about me, I'm going to start this video. There's a couple of things I want to say right before I start this video. First of all, this video is very raw and real. I thought about cutting my hair. You see my hair is all messed up. I don't even give a fuck, guys. Like, I just really was like, you know what, I want to record this video because it's a video that's been sitting on my heart for a while. And there's some events that happened recently in my life that made me realize just how necessary this video was. So one of the things about me, guys, is I like to consider myself an intelligent person. And I don't say that to toot my own horn. It's because I actually have accomplishments that prove that I'm an intelligent person. So, you know, people playing with my intelligence or like trying to make me think that I don't know what I'm actually talking about is actually a trigger for me. You know, I've been in therapy for a while, and so in therapy it helps you become more self-reflective, and I realized that people playing with my intelligence is actually like a huge trigger for me, like turns me insane, right? So that's the first thing, right? You know, my father taught me from a very young age that knowledge is power. So I've dedicated my life to learning knowledge, like to gaining knowledge, to learning things, to figuring out how things work. I've always been a tinkerer, right? And you know, but along with that territory, if you're an intelligent person, you get insults thrown at you, like you're a know-it-all, you know, you're a smart ass, you know, you think you know everything, you're a narcissist, right? And so, you know, truthfully, I allowed some of these insults to like soak into my skin, and I took on some of these identities, right? One of them being narcissist. And so this particular video I want to dedicate to the very first woman who ever called me a narcissist, which is Ihezukwu, right? She's the one who like spurned this entire thing. Because truthfully, guys, I dated her for 4.5 years, and then after I broke up with her, I'm not gonna lie, I turned into a little bit of a player, and so I experienced a lot of women, some that I'm cool with still, some that I'm not cool with. But one thing I noticed is that Stephanie and a couple other women I broke up with afterward, they all kept calling me a narcissist after I broke up with them, right? And I was just kind of like, I don't really feel like I'm a narcissist, but you know, I'm also somebody who's dedicated to being a better person. So I looked up the word, looked up the traits, and I was like, maybe that's me, right? So guys, I need you to understand, like, I like basically sent an intro email to my therapist, and I said, you know, I am a narcissist and I need help recovering, right? Like that was my intro email to her, right? Because I just automatically assumed, because so many people had hurled that insult at me, that that must be true, right? And so, you know, the first few sessions, my therapist is trying to feel me out. She's like, why do you think you're a narcissist? And I said, well, these kind of situations popped up, and then these women brought up the word narcissist, right? Because we all know a woman will never throw an insult at you that's untrue, right? All of the insults a woman throws at you are 100% true and accurate. So I gave her examples, and she's like, I wouldn't necessarily say that's a narcissist. You just didn't do things in the way that she wanted, but I wouldn't call you a narcissist. And I was like, see, that's what I thought, right? So anyways, by like the fourth or fifth session, you know, I was in the middle of telling my therapist a story, and I used the word narcissist. She said, Clinton, I actually want you to delete that word from your vocabulary. You know, like based on everything you've told me and I've seen so far, I don't necessarily think you're a narcissist, right? I mean, like, do you have some work and, you know, that needs to be done? Sure, right? But narcissist, like I've met narcissists, like you're not a narcissist, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't feel like I was, right? And so like, throughout my therapy journey, like there's a lot of times where I would tell my therapist something, you know, because my therapist is a black woman, right? That's why I love that my therapist is a black woman, because, you know, a lot of the things that I learned from her, you know, or the male empowerment things that I say are coming from her standpoint, right? Like she told me that I don't feel myself enough. Like this is like in the beginning of our sessions together, right? She's like, Clinton, you don't feel yourself enough. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't feel myself enough. I have motherfuckers around me all the time who call me arrogant, who call me cocky, who call me a narcissist. So what do you mean I don't feel myself enough, right? Like this is foreign language you're speaking to me, right? But that's what she told me, guys. She said, you do actually have all the results to back up the shit you talk. You know what I mean? It's just that you have to change your environment, right? And so I'll get into a lot of this later. Again, this video is straight from the dome, but I do want to touch on this topic of narcissism today. Like I feel like dog, I've been sitting on this video idea for a long time, and I'm like, okay, I've been provoked to release it, right? And I'll explain this in a second. So like I told you guys, Stephanie and I dated for 4.5 years, right? You know, And when I first got together with Stephanie, like, when we talk about the provocation, right? I broke up with Stephanie in 2018, around this exact same time. I mean, if you ask her, she remembers the anniversary of when I broke up with her, but I don't care so much about the relationship. That I remember it was around this time because there's a industry event, like we both work in the cybersecurity industry, so there's DEF CON, right? So I remember it was around this time, right? But I'm just like, yo, like, I don't even remember the day I broke up with you or most of, that kind of like specific information, because like I just have like erased that relationship out of my memory for the most part, right? Because I've pushed it out, because personally for me it was traumatic, and I just wanted to get past it, right? So anyways, truthfully guys, before I detail the relationship with Stephanie, I'll tell you guys why I broke up with her. I broke up with her, and I'll tell you the entire world, like I told her, like I told her family and friends, that she's just too slow for me. She can't keep up with me intellectually, and she can't keep up with me career-wise. That's what I told her, right? Because, and for context, guys, you have to understand that I have always been ahead of Stephanie when it comes to, career accomplishments and everything like that. But while we were together, she always wanted to make it seem as if I wasn't someone who knew what I was talking about, right? And so it became one of those things where it just got kind of frustrating, where I'm just kind of like, I'm ahead of you in your career, and when I give you advice, you don't necessarily listen to me all the time, right? And, so, for her, she even uttered this out of her own mouth, she's like, I want to make a career for myself in cybersecurity, and I don't want anyone to say that my boyfriend had a hand in building it, right? And when she would say this, it would make me like look at her sideways, because I'm like, number one, I stand on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to steal somebody else's spotlight. Like, I do my own shit. As a matter of fact, I'm a fucking wallflower. I do amazing shit, and I run off and hide in the corner. Like, I don't like being in the spotlight, right? But this video right here is like my frustration of watching Stephanie literally tweet shit about me for the past 4 years, right? Like, because guys, after I broke up with Stephanie, she's the woman who actually turned me into a savage, into a player. Like, any woman that experienced me afterward, you guys, she's the one who started it, right? Like, for every guy, there's one woman you gave your entire heart to, and she just fucked with it. Like, you just did everything possible to try and make this woman happy, and you realize that there was never anything you were going to do. You were never going to be enough for this woman. She was always going to be asking for more and more and more and more and more, and she's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, straight up. Anybody can hate me for saying that, but I don't give a fuck. There are some women that are just not worth all the effort they're asking you to fucking bring to the table, nigga. Like just straight up. And Stephanie is one of those women. And I'll tell you exactly why Stephanie is one of those women, right? So when Stephanie and I first started dating, we started dating at this company called HostGator, right? And side note, guys, me airing her out like this, because she runs her fucking mouth on Twitter, like I don't even know if she actually works like at all day, right? She just sits there, just fucking sending off tweets all goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, yo, if you actually put your fucking phone down and opened a book, nigga, you'd actually probably get some of the certifications you keep on talking about that you want. You probably actually learn some of the skills that you want if you put your fucking Twitter down. But anyways, so she and I first started dating in 2014, guys. And so at the time when we first started dating, I was already a security administrator. I was a Linux security administrator, right? And so she was basically like, kind of like doing help desk stuff, right? Like when you have issues with your website, you call people and you say, hey, my website's down, blah, blah. She was doing that, right? So I've always been ahead of her in the career curve, right? So when Stephanie and I first started dating, guys, like she just was emotionally volatile all the time, crying all the time, jealous about shit, screaming about this is, and it just drove me mad, guys. And so what ended up happening was, I started learning how to stock trade back in 2014, right? And so I got really, really good at it in 2015. And so in 2015, I promised myself, I said, you know what, if you get good enough at trading, and you're able to make your monthly income, then just go ahead and quit your job, right? Just go ahead and quit your job and then trade for a living, right? It gives you much more freedom. So that's what I decided to do, guys. I decided to say, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to go and, do that, right? So I was dating Stephanie at the time, right? So I was making this money trading. I was making lots of money, right? Money was coming in fast. And I kept telling her, I was like, yeah, baby, I'm going to take you here. I'm going to buy you this and this. And her ass was, people who know me at the time, right? I was driving my blue Mustang. She was sitting in the passenger side smiling. Oh, I can't wait for you to spoil me and shit like that, right? Until one day, everything came crashing down. So guys, this moment gave me PTSD. It's actually something that like it's taking me a while to get past, right? But so during that time in 2015, I quit my job, and so I was feeling myself. I was making a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling myself. I was feeling myself. I was smelling myself. Not even just feeling myself. I was smelling myself. I ain't gonna lie, right? And I'm a spiritual person. I'm religious, and so honestly, I truthfully believe that I was too cocky for my own good, and God came and smacked me down. So let me explain what happened to you guys. So at that time, for reference, I was making like $4,000 a week in the stock market, right? Just trading, making money, right? And I had about $45,000 to my name at the time. My credit score was like 750. Like, I was feeling on top of the motherfucking world. You know what I mean? But I was feeling very cocky. I'm not even gonna lie. Looking back at that time, I was feeling so cocky, and I was not humble at all. And eventually, God just came and said, "Look, I'm taking all of this shit away from you in a heartbeat." Guys, within like the span of 3 days, I lost every single penny to my name. $45,000. Like, I had like racked up lots of credit. I mean, I'll kind of skip ahead in the story, right, just to paint the picture, right? But I had racked up lots of credit card debt. I had just I'd made a bunch of bad trades, and just like literally like 3-4 days, like all of it gone, right? I didn't have any money to pay rent. I didn't have nothing, guys. I I tell the people this jokingly, right? Like, before I started learning how to trade, right, I used to hear about these Wall Street guys that would commit suicide, right? And I'm not even gonna lie, right? I'd look at them and be like, yeah, they're pussies. It's just money, right? It's just money, right? It's replaceable, right, bro? But then, like, guys, like, when I was in that moment, like, no shit, I'm not lying to you. Like, when I was in that moment and I lost everything, like, the emotional, like, you don't know how to deal with all those emotions, especially when you feel like you've let people down. You've been talking shit about how you're going to do this and do that, blah, blah, and you've let people down. Like, you don't, like, those are a lot of emotions to deal with. And I'm not going to lie, like, I fell into a depressive state during that time, right? Like, I lost everything, and I was feeling on top of the world. And so something happened that really, really, like, just, kind of just, like, fucked me up, right? So, guys, I'm not even gonna lie. I lost everything to my name, all of that. I thought I was the biggest idiot. I thought I was a fool. Again, I just had my girl here. We were talking about how, we were going to take trips here, do this and do this. And I lost everything. All of it, guys. And so at the time, I had an apartment that was, furnished. I had cable, all that stuff like that. And so Stephanie was, in the process of trying to secure her apartment. She didn't really have much money, and she was kind of just, still getting her feet off the ground, right? And so I lost everything. And all I wanted to do, I'm not going to lie to you guys, like, for the first, 2 weeks after I lost everything, all I wanted to do was just lay on the couch and just look at the ceiling. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to breathe the wrong way because a new bill would come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want, guys, I took a risk. I took a risk, a leap of faith, and fell flat on my goddamn face. You know what I'm saying? And that's a little bit of, it's embarrassment, but I came back from it, right? So I'm not even necessarily too pissed off about it. But here's what happened at the time, right? To Stephanie's credit, at the time when I lost everything, this woman was like, hey, it's okay. I still love you and everything. Let's go do this. Let's do that. The thing is, guys, like, when you're depressed, like, at first, like for me, this is now, like, I went through my second major depressive episode, like, in my life, like, last year. And, what I can tell you is that, as somebody who's made it through major depressive episodes that have, like, made me consider suicide, right, is that the first few weeks you're in it, you just have to acknowledge your feelings, listen to them. What are your feelings telling you, right? And you have to combat them. Like, because at that time, my feelings were telling me that I'm a goddamn moron for doing what the fuck I did, right? And there was a little bit of truth to it. But for the most part, I took a risk on myself. I bet on myself. And that's something you should never regret, right? But you have to sit with those emotions and process them, right? So, back to the story. To her credit, she was recommending, let's go out for a walk, let's do this. And I was just laying on this, like, the floor, like, the couch, just looking at the ceiling, like, I'm a fuck up. I'm a failure. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. Like, that's all I was consumed with. And she would just say, let's do this. And I said, just leave me. Just leave me be, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had enough self-awareness to know that I was being a grouch. So I would just tell her, just leave me be, please. Right? And so things came to a head one day where, she came over and she was really, 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 like, motivated to, like, get me to, get out of the house and do something, right? And I told her, I was like, look, like, I just need to chill. Give me some time to sort my thoughts so I can figure out a game plan of how the fuck I'm going to get myself out of this. Because, guys, like, And also at the time, guys, you know, my parents, I wasn't talking to them at the moment. And I told myself, like, I'm not going to call mommy and daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people think that because I come from, you know, my family, that mommy and daddy is like, has been my lifeline, or that they give me money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a trust fund kid. My parents don't really give me fucking money like that, to be honest, right? So I told myself I wasn't going to borrow no money from my parents. I wasn't going to call them or whatever. And guys, like, you know, so she kept on, you know, one day pushing. And I said, look, I just leave, like, just let me have some time, please. And she kind of like does like that. And she's like, you're no fun anymore. And she gets up and leaves my apartment and slams the door behind her. And guys, like, I know from my non-melanated friends, you may not get this reference, but guys, I swear to you, I sat up on the couch and I gave my door the Ike stare. Because I was like, yo, if she comes back through that door, I need to be giving her the Ike stare, like, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like the very first thing I need to give this woman is the Ike stare when she comes back through this doorway. You know what I'm saying? She said, you're no fun anymore. And I'm like, how the fuck do you expect me to be fun? You know what I'm saying? Like, did you not just see that I lost everything to my fucking name? How the fuck can I have fun right now? I'm thinking of how to survive, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Guys, my credit score went from a 740. I missed car payments. One of my car payments. I missed a couple of credit card payments. Guys, my credit score tumbled from a fucking 740 all the way down to like a 560 or some ridiculous shit like that, guys. Like, the credit score I have now is not fucking fantastic, but by God, man, those missed payments fucking stick to you like goddamn glue. It doesn't matter how much fucking money you make per year, how much you've been paying your shit. They're like, look, man, that stuff sticks on you for 7 years, bro. And it really does fuck with your credit. So please, guys, don't miss a missed payment. But anyways, continue with the story, guys. I had nothing. I lost everything. And this woman got up and was more concerned with the fact that I was no longer her fun boyfriend anymore. You're no fun anymore. I know you lost everything to your name, but you're no fun. You're not providing me with entertainment. So she left me, guys. She straight up left me and slammed the door behind her, right? So she goes to her apartment, which is not furnished at all, by the way. It's like barely furnished. It has like a bed in it, right? So guys, you have to understand, like, at this time, you know, because she talks about this too, so I have no problem airing out our entire relationship. So at the time, she was making like, I want to say like, what, $15 an hour, and she has this apartment. It's like $800 a month, and she's trying to like get all this shit set up, right? And so I'm just like, yo, like, instead of you trying to break your back furnishing this apartment and like going paycheck to paycheck, why don't you stay in my apartment, save up some money, and then you can then buy everything all at once and move in, right? And she was like, no, I want to have my own apartment, and I don't want to be in your space because you're a grouch. And I'm like, so you're literally going to make yourself live paycheck to paycheck just because you want your own place. When you have a boyfriend with a fully furnished place, granted, I had lost everything to my name though, but I'm like, if you combine your resources plus mine together, we could kind of make something shake here. You know what I'm saying? But she's like, no, I specifically want to be on my own. So I'm like, all right then, playa. Go on ahead. So she goes off, and guys, this happened, and I want to say like a September or October or something like that, right? So December comes around. This is how kind and sweet I was to this woman. So in the background, by the way, guys, I lost everything to my name. I'm facing eviction notices. Like, my apartment complex is coming and leaving eviction notices on my door, and they're knocking on the door. And I'm sorry, guys, at the time, this is what I was doing. I was waiting for them to leave, and then I would peep out the peephole. They left. I'd open the door, tear down the eviction notice, and close the door. I was like, shit, I want that embarrassment sitting there, right? But at the same time, I'm like, look, what the fuck else can I do? I ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck else am I going to do, right? So guys, I literally at the time, there's a friend that I used to be cool with, right? I borrowed some certification books from him, and I started studying for the certification. Like, guys, I was only like in this depressive episode, like, so like I was probably like depressed and just staring at the ceiling, I want to say for like 3 weeks to a month max. like max a month, because I'm not somebody who just lays and just, I don't believe in that, right? Like, I want to feel my feelings so I know what I'm feeling, right? Then I want to take action. I'm a nigga of action, right? So I told myself, I'm not going to sit around just, feeling sorry for myself. I'm going to take action to get myself out of this situation that I put myself in, right? So one of my friends at the time, he was studying for the GCIA certification. He said, actually, I won't renew it. Here's the books, right? So, got the books from him and I went to studying. So guys, I then started applying for any and every job that I could, started working at a job called cPanel. Like, even though I was a security, administrator, I said, fuck it, I'll just go back and do Linux support if I have to. I have bills to pay, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, right? Like, anything, right? So this is what I'm doing, guys. In the background, I'm hustling like a motherfucker. Then December comes around, and this girl, Stephanie, again, who is mismanaging her money, spending paycheck to paycheck because she wants to have her own place with her live, love, laugh, fucking, shit all over the fucking place, right? So December comes around, right? And she's like, damn, it's Christmas time and I really want to get my family presents. And I'm like, first of all, I know your finances. Presents are the last thing that should be on your mind, because normally I get my family presents, and this year I'm telling them I ain't got shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my siblings were used to getting presents from me, but that particular year, I told them, I was like, Clint ain't got it. But I would just be straight up with y'all. Clint ain't got it because Clint's struggling. You know what I'm saying? And I told her to tell her family the same thing. She says, no, I must get my family something. How can I be the oldest daughter in the family and not get everybody something, right? And I told her, I was like, easy, because you ain't got the money, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple motherfucking math, nigga. You don't have the money, so you don't get them Christmas presents. And if they were really your family and fucked with you like that, then they would understand. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, her and her infinite wisdom, she says, no, Clinton, you're wrong. I must get the presents, right? She gets them presents, guys. Then she's late on rent. She ain't got enough money for rent. And you want to know who bailed her ass out? Despite the fact that I lost every goddamn dollar to my name several months prior, and I'm still fucking climbing up this mountain to get back to where the fuck I need to be, this woman frivolously is spending money on herself. And she's just like, oh, well, I had to buy this for my family. I mean, what else is going to happen, right? I mean, I can't tell them that I don't have money for Christmas presents. So, guys, she's late on rent. And who bails her out? Me. And that was the story of our relationship. Her impulsively spending however fucking she wanted to, because I was the budget one. I was the one who actually budgeted my money and saved shit, right? And she was just there impulsively spending her money however the fuck she wanted to. And when I'd give her guidance and say, Stephanie, you should spend your money this way, she would say, no, I make my own money. I can spend it however the fuck I want to. And so that's why, she would always complain that I never, gave her more access to my finances. And I'm like, yeah, because let me tell you guys this, right? This is only just, the first part of our relationship. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. But hopefully you guys can see the pattern of the type of woman she is, right? Based on these things, right? She's been tweeting shit about me for 4 years, and I haven't said shit back. You know what I'm saying? I've just been looking at it okay, player. You defiling my name like that. You're not gonna tell I'm not telling my part of the story because I want to keep your innocence. You know what I'm saying? But now it's again, I'll get to this, right? So anyways, she spends her money impulsively, and I'm like, yo, you need to save it, right? And I've always been the more budget conscious person, right? And guys, there were times where we would be in a relationship where a random expense of $3,000 would come up, right? And I'd spend it, and she'd be like, man, I admire you for having so much money saved up to where you can do it. I'm like, yeah, because I save money, nigga. I budget. You know what I'm saying? She'd be amazed that when surprise things popped up that I'd have the money for it. And I'm like, yes, that's what being a responsible adult that budgets looks like. That random shit can pop up and I can say, I've got the money in my savings. I don't want to spend it. That's the thing that I would always tell people, right? Is when random things pop up like that, like bills, car issues or whatever like that. And it's hey, for example, right before I traded in my Macan, I just took it in for an issue and they're $3,600 out of nowhere. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I wasn't expecting to drop $3,600 when I walked into this bitch today, right? But fuck it, because I'm a budgeting nigga and I knew that I wanted a Macan and this is the type of repair bills that's gonna come with it, I had it stacked away in my savings so I can afford to just pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But there's other things that are not that important. Like if she's like, oh, we haven't been on a date or a trip in this stuff, that's not important to me. But making sure if my Macan, which gets me from point A to point B, breaks down, that I have a random $4,000 or $3,600 for a bill to get so I can keep driving, you know what I'm saying? That's what I got money for. But anyways, so, you know, that was just something that plagued our entire relationship. Just Stephanie was piss poor with money. Absolutely fucking piss poor with money. And I kept on trying to get her to budget, right? So the thing about it is, like, guys, just all in all, the next topic, okay. All in all, guys, the picture that I'm trying to paint, and I'll give more examples of this, because again, I have no idea how deep I'm gonna go in this shit, because I'm like, nah, I'm on a roll now. I started. You done started, girl. You done started some shit. You should have shut the fuck up. Like, you done started some shit now. So, you know, the picture I'm trying to paint is Stephanie's not a bad person. She's a shitty girlfriend, an absolutely shitty girlfriend. Like, as a person in the industry or whatever, she's cool to talk to or whatever, right? But if you want to make her your girlfriend, she does an absolute shit job as a girlfriend. She doesn't listen to what the fuck you have to say, even though you know more than her. She doesn't budget better than you, but then she'll be telling you how you should be spending the money and be going on dates and shit. Well, yeah, I'm the budget conscious one, right? And so I'm telling you, our budget ain't got money for more dates right now, nigga, because I'm working on some shit in the background, right? She'd always accuse me of spending money selfishly on what I want and only the things that I want, right? But guys, at age 32, I've now quit my job and I have so much money saved to the side that I'm now working on building my own cybersecurity business. Meanwhile, just the other day on Twitter, she was like, I'm stuck in my career. I have no idea where I want to go. You know, and so again, when we talk about, you know, the reason why I broke up with her is because she's not intelligent enough to keep up with me. As a person that just is in the industry, she's cool to just talk to, right? But as my girlfriend, if I'm going at a certain pace, I expect you to keep up with me. And that's the biggest problem with us in a relationship. That's why I dropped her ass back to her family. I said, she can't keep up with me. And guys, we broke up in 2018. And it is now 2022. Again, this is like the 4-year anniversary of us breaking up. And you guys have seen everything that I've accomplished in the past 4 years. And you see what she's accomplished in the past 4 years. Has she made forward movement? Yes. When I dropped her back to her family and said that she's too slow for me, I never discounted the fact that she makes forward progress, right? Your forward progress is just too slow for me, woman. I'm sorry. You're just not intelligent enough to keep up with me. For reference, guys, this woman, and this is something that she's admitted in the podcast, so I'll repeat this. So right before we broke up, she gets this job as a security analyst at this company called Charming Charlie, right? And so she like guys, at the time she gets this job, I'm studying for the OSCP certification. Now, for my friends and other people who are watching this video who have no idea what the fuck I just said, basically it's a certification that teaches you how to like hack into systems, like actually like steal data, like, you know, like real bad guy shit, right? So I'm studying for that, right? Just for reference, I'm studying how to actually hack into people's systems, and I know how to defend them, right? Because at this point, when she and I were dating, I had been, at that time when I was studying for the OSCP, I had 7 years of cybersecurity experience under my belt, and I had a bachelor's degree, and I was in the middle of doing a master's degree at University of Houston while traveling in and out of Houston every single week for my consulting job at Booz Allen Hamilton, right? So, which I'll get to that in a second, right? So anyways, while I'm doing all of that, right next to me is this woman, Stephanie, who quite literally can't even open up a terminal and get shit done. You know what I'm saying? And like, for me, I'm trying to like look next to her. I'm just like, how are you literally laying in bed next to a great man like me and you don't absorb any of the knowledge and experience that I have? Like, guys, that always perplexed me. But the biggest problem of it is that Stephanie is truly the narcissist. Stephanie will look at a man like me and all of my accolades and accomplishments and says, I know more than him. And I'm looking around and I'm like, what the fuck have you done? You know, like seriously, what the fuck have you done? Have you done things? Yes. But compared to me, let me tell you guys, I posted about this on my LinkedIn just the other day, right? There is a Fortune 80 pharma company that got hit by NotPetya. People in the industry know NotPetya, right? took down 60,000 endpoints. I was asleep. Nigga, I was asleep in my bed at 7 a.m. on a Sunday. And I get a call from one of my superiors. And he says, Clinton, we have a client that just got hit by some nasty shit. And we need some people down here. You know what I'm saying? And so I flew there, right? First thing smoking. Guys, I was brand new to the company. I'd only been working at Booz Allen for like 2-3 months at the time. I was still learning the company. And they're like, yeah, we're going to shoot you and drop shoot. They basically pushed me into the deep fucking end with that project, right? We're working 14-hour days. One of my old friends, Matthew Hennessy, man, him and I and this other guy named Chuck Nupp, we were working 14+ hour days helping this company get back online, guys. Like Matt and I, man, this guy Matt and I, we would be sitting at the table. Like it would be 11 p.m. and we're still at work. And how we knew it was time for us to go back to the hotel is I'd be typing some shit up and he'd say, hey, did you check blah, blah, blah? And he'd say some shit that just don't make no motherfucking sense. And I'd stop typing and I'd look at him and I'd be like, all right, man. I'd close my laptop and be like, yo, let's get back to the hotel. So we're there at the client site from like 7:30 a.m. until 11, sometimes midnight. Sometimes we were there till like 1, guys. That's what we're doing because this client makes life-saving medication. Guys, it would, like, guys, the entire, we'd have so many execs in a room that are looking at us, that are like, please tell us what to do next because, like, we're lost here, right? And it was our job to guide them. They trusted us. They put our trust in us. So, guys, this client was on the East Coast, right? So I'm flying from Houston to the East Coast every single week, working 14-hour days while I'm there in the East Coast and flying back to Houston. Then I throw an in-person master's degree program in the mix. Showing up, I had to tell the client, I say, hey, look, I've got classes Thursday through Sunday with this new master's program. I'm going to have to fly back home on Wednesday, work remote Thursday through Friday, still get shit done for you guys. They said yes. Then I'm flying back, doing shit for them Thursday through Friday, then still going to class in the evening time, Thursday through Saturday. And let me tell you what Stephanie was doing, not what I was doing. She was watching Love and Hip Hop and all this other shit, and I'm trying to encourage her, like, yo, learn some more skills. You're having a hard time breaking into cybersecurity. Learn some more skills. And she's like, Clinton, you don't know how to get into the industry. You got it. People like you got into the industry, and there's no set, path. So, how did you even get into the industry? How you got into the industry is by luck. And I'm just like, yo, let me tell y'all, like, that right there triggers me, right? Because she is the one who got into the industry by luck, and she admits it. Her very, very first job at Charming Charlie, guys, let me tell y'all what happened. Her and her best friend Stacy called me a hater for this, and I'll never forget this day, right? And she even admits to this. So again, this is not me just airing her out, trying to just talk shit about her, or just dunk on her or whatever, right? She admitted to this in like interviews and stuff because I was dating her at the time, right? So guys, she doesn't really have the technical skills to pull off this job. And, they interview her, right? And so based on what they want her to do, they wanted her to be the solo security architect, basically, like at all of these different jewelry stores for a woman who can't even explain to you how fucking VPN works. And again, you guys might think I'm joking. Let me continue my story, right? So she goes for the interview, right? And she tells me about the company and what they expect her to do. And I'm like, oh, who has been in the cybersecurity industry and who knows all of the different little, tasks that you're going to have to do, I know you ain't up to the snuff for the job. So I was like, and she had interviewed at a couple of other companies too. So they had already like rejected her and told her no, right? So I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm expecting that one to be a no. So she comes back and she's smiling and she's on the phone with her friend. She's like, guess what happened? They want me to come back for a second interview. And I was like, I was like, wait, what? Like, guys, I was confused. I was like, wait, what? And people could call me a hater, but I was like, did they hear you speak? Did they hear your technical experience? Like, I'm confused. Like, she said, yeah. She said, then guys, again, for anybody who thinks I'm hating, I swear to God, this happens. So she was like, yeah, and they were interviewing me and they said they use this thing called Trend Micro. Have you ever heard of it? Guys, okay, so for those who don't work in the cybersecurity industry, what I just said was, this is the equivalent of a company think of like Methodist Hospital, right? Imagine Methodist Hospital is trying to hire a new director of their healthcare billing, right? And they interview that person. And then that person comes and says, yeah, they say they work with this company called Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have you ever heard of it? That's the equivalent of like what she just said to me. So guys, I'm looking at her. I'm like, wait. She's going to be responsible for the cybersecurity of all of these department stores. And she has no idea who the fuck oh, Jesus Christ. That company is fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it only just highlights part of the reason why I actually have gripes against the cybersecurity industry, right? Is because in that particular instance, oh, and I'll actually, before I get to that point, I'll actually add on for more people who think that I'm just dry dunking on her. Here's another situation that just, that popped up while she was there that made me really just knew that that company was fucked, right? Which they were, right? So anyways, there's one day, she gets a call that there's a large network transfer occurring after company hours, right? So she's like, yeah, well, somebody's transferring data from the network after hours. And I mean, I don't have training on how the switch works. So, I mean, it's the network guy's job. And I'm like, actually, no. As a cybersecurity guy, or woman, whatever the fuck, right? As a cybersecurity person, right? If there's large amounts of data being transferred off that network, like when nobody is supposed to be doing it, don't you think the security person is supposed to go and investigate as to why the fuck that's happening? And she's like, well, it's happening on the network and it's the network person's job. I don't have training in the network. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that company's fucked. Jesus Christ, this company's fucked, right? And so guys, before she and I, kind of broke up is, I was watching her on Twitter. Like, when she sends out all these tweets, guys, like I was watching her Twitter account grow. And like, I'd be watching her just like sitting on the couch, watching Love and Hip Hop and like Real Housewives and, all these other like stupid reality TV shows that just rot women's brains, right? And I was watching her do this, just sending out tweets. And everybody in the industry is like, yeah, black woman and dick. And meanwhile, she's like literally like with a guy who's quite literally running laps around her in actual accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just sitting in the other room, just like shaking my head. Like this industry, you guys just uphold these false messiahs. Like, oh, fuck it, I'll just call it false messiahs. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, Stephanie's not a bad person. She's pushing to try and make her name in the industry. But how she came into this industry and even the shit that she talks about me, I'm like, baby girl, you don't compare to me. And honestly, guys, the reason why she's so upset with me and she's, even doing all this shit is because, guys, I tried so hard. I was so patient with this woman, guys. Like, I've openly told my therapist all the shit I've gone through with her and like other women I've been through. So like, even my therapist personally knows all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, for me, I'm just kind of like, yo, before I broke up with her, guys, I kept on urging Stephanie to get her act together. I said, Stephanie, when I dump you on the side of the road, you are never going to have a man as good as me. I told her that straight up, guys. People can call me cocky, people can call me arrogant, but here's the thing, guys, because I know her as a person, and I know that I was the only one at my level, that like a guy at my level that was going to tolerate that shit, right? Because I'm like, look, once I drop you and you actually go out into this dating market and you get to experience the other men that you like actually should be with, you're going to wish you had me back. And that's what I tell a lot of women, right? Like, a lot of women, when I like either casually dating them or I'm in a relationship, when they start acting up, like really, really acting up, I warn them. Like, guys, like, I straight up warn them on some pimp shit. I'm like, look, you acting up, you about to get dropped, nigga. Like straight up, I'll tell them, like, you acted up, you about to get dropped. And then when they get dropped, they get surprised. They're like, oh, I thought you were going to be kind and patient with me forever. No. Everything has an expiration date. Everything has an expiration date. I can only be so kind and understanding so far. And guys, Stephanie sits on Twitter talking shit about how she's so healed and all that stuff. Guys, again, like I said, is one of the conditions of me not dropping her back in 2015 when I realized that she was a terrible girlfriend, like terrible girlfriend material, right? Not like a terrible person, right? But as a girlfriend, she's terrible. As a person, she's cool. As a girlfriend, she's absolute shit. She makes a shit girlfriend, in my opinion, right? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think she makes a shit girlfriend, right? I mean, in reality, has kind of shown that. If you don't make a shit girlfriend, why hasn't any other man come and taken you? You know what I'm saying? Why are you still obsessed with me and worried about me? Why are you still tweeting about me? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some women that I've dated that I quite literally am not concerned with them. Like, I wish them well, but I'm not concerned with them. And so for anybody who's been on my Instagram, who have seen some of the posts that I've shared in the language, I'm like, women like Stephanie are the reason why I share that stuff, right? Like, I don't call women bitches to their faces. I'm not hyper aggressive with them in their face. Like, everybody has this thought that I hate women. But let me tell you guys, right? I was hanging out with a lady friend of mine in New York a couple of weeks back, right? And so she and I were having drinks at a bar, and we were there with the bartender, right? And so we were talking about this whole Jada, Will Smith situation. And, what I find is women are siding with Jada, right? They're like, yeah, women power, blah, blah, blah. Whereas I'm siding with Will. I'm like, no. As a guy who's gone through therapy, guys, I've talked to my therapist. Like, I've had 48 sessions. Like, so many people have tried to like gaslight me and question my mental sanity and stuff. I actually had to log into my Gmail and just be like, I had to type in my therapist's name and like bring up all of the appointment reminder things. I'm like, I have talked to her for 48 sessions and dropped like mad racks, talking to this woman, right? Like, I think I know what I'm talking about. I think I know myself, right? So anyways, guys, like, I've talked to my therapist, for 48 sessions. You know what I'm saying? It's like, again, I'm not saying that she endorses everything that I do or she says that I'm the most mentally sane person. But the thing is, I've done the work, guys. Everybody who looks at my Instagram over the past year, you can see the evolution of myself, right? Meanwhile, this woman, again, condition of me not breaking up with her in 2015 was that she must start therapy. She starts therapy, and Stephanie is the first woman who will tell you that she's in therapy. She's been in therapy for 7 years, guys. This woman, I'm in therapy. I don't know if somebody's healed. I'm like, you've been in therapy for 7 years, guys. Like, girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys, she's been in therapy for 7 years. I've been in therapy for 1 year, 48 sessions. You want to know what my therapist tells me all the time? She says, Clint, it's my job to get myself fired. Clinton, one day I hope you fire my ass so you never have to talk to me again. And I know you're healed and you're out doing the Lord's work or whatever the fuck it is that you're doing, right? She's like, one day you and I are never going to talk again. That is what I'm working towards, guys. And the thing is, like, my therapist, the biggest thing is that she teaches accountability. Accountability, taking accountability for your actions. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that is why I am who I am, is because I am able to look in the mirror and take accountability for my actions, right? And it's not always gonna look good. Sometimes you look in the mirror and you're like, I've done something ugly, and I've got to look at myself and say, look, I did something ugly, and own up to it. You know what I'm saying? But that's what makes you a better person, owning up to your shit. This woman has been in therapy for 7 years. And she will still tell anybody who listens that she thinks that she's elite because she's in therapy. She's been doing that for 7 years. Meanwhile, I've had 48 sessions with my therapist, and y'all saw my post the other day. I feel like a brand new man. You know what I mean? And here's the biggest thing. So I'll end this video on this. And this is the last reason why I'm recording this video. Guys, I really think that in our society, we live in a hyper-feministic state. Like, am I a feminist? Absolutely. I'm a feminist, but not in the way that our society is currently pushing feminism. Here's how I'm a feminist. I'm a feminist is that a woman can do whatever the fuck she sets her mind out to. If a woman wants to, gain as much muscle as me, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I mean, hey, that's your thing. I'm not into muscular women like that, right? I like my girls a little thick, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, she can do that, right? If a woman wants to become a firefighter, she can do it. If she wants to become a construction worker, she can do it. If she wants to become a plumber, she can do it. But the thing is that women have this whole, this must be given to me attitude, right? Going back to Stephanie, is like, when she was complaining and tweeting all the time about how hard it is to break into the industry, she has a guy next to her literally breaking his back, gaining certifications, guys. Like, go to my LinkedIn and look at my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, go and look at me. Go and look at her LinkedIn. Go and look at mine. And then see who it is that's really capping on who. You know what I'm saying? And she's been tweeting about her crazy ex-deranged boyfriend for all this time. You know what I'm saying? And society allows women like that to get away with it. And the reason why I've never said anything back against it is because, guys, literally, and this is why I dropped the video, is because yesterday, or the day before yesterday, is that, like, she contacted me out of nowhere. I tried to be nice to her, right? And I said, hey, look, you have some stuff of that I was still, giving to you, and providing for you. I had a platform for her virtual private server, VPS, right? I say, hey, look, do you want me to give you a backup of it, or do you want to transfer it, right? I'm shutting down the system, right? And she was like, oh, well, the other day when we talked, there was this issue and I sent a screenshot to your family and I'm so sorry about that. And I was like, wait, time out. You sent a screenshot to my family? I'm like, what are you doing communicating with my family? I broke up with you a long time ago, right? And so earlier before, she was like, hey, somebody from your family, like somebody reached out to you. So I said, who is it that reached out to you? I asked this one. As a matter of fact, here's where the receipts come out, right? Here's where the receipts come out. And this is what I like, because she, I told you fucked up by fucking with me, right? So guys, all text messages. And so she actually blocked me on Twitter because I told her, I said, hey, look, you went ahead and, are trying to, make it seem like I'm deranged or whatever. Post this screenshot of what I said, right? Let the entire world be the judge. And she blocked me. Anyways. So, guys, Wednesday, July 27th, I'm minding my own business. I get a text from Stephanie. She says, hey, I know this is random, but just want to reach out to you, see how you're doing. You were on my mind. I hadn't talked to this woman in so fucking long, so I'm like, what dragged this woman out of the depths of hell to text me, right? When she knows I don't fuck with her like that, right? I said, hey, this is a little bit too random. Who asked you to reach out to me? Because it felt like somebody asked her to reach out to me, right? She's like, no one asked me to reach out, but somebody did reach out, though. And I'm just like, yo, you're approaching this shit not in good faith. Why would you call me or why would you text me knowing I don't fuck with you and then say somebody told me to reach out? Tell me who the fuck it was that told you to reach out. You know what I'm saying? Like playing mind games and some stupid shit, right? So I told her, I was like, what? She said, oh, I don't feel comfortable saying who it was that reached out. I mean, it's not my place to get involved. You already got involved by texting me, you stupid ass. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's like women play these games and I'm like, yo, I see your games. You know what I'm saying? You're just upset that I'm calling you out on it. That's what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will try to make it seem like I'm crazy and deranged. No, guys, I'm just calling her out on her bullshit games because I see her for who she is. So I told her, I said, hey, look, actually you're right. Good call. On second thought, I'd rather not hear from you, but take care and I hope all is well. So even though this woman annoyed the fuck out of me with this stupid mind game that she tried to play, I still wished her well and sent her about her fucking way. You know what I'm saying? Even though she didn't come in with good faith, I said, look, I'm going to send you out with good faith, baby girl. You know what I'm saying? But I see the bullshit you playing. So then I come back in on Wednesday and I say, hey, I realize that I still have some services that I'm giving you for free or whatever. Can I at least give you a backup of this shit? And, we can just, kind of figure it out, right? So then she was like, oh yeah, well, I didn't mean to send a screenshot to you or anyone in your family. I just didn't understand your response and I needed feedback from a friend. So I was like, what screenshot? So for reference, guys, after I told her that I'd rather not hear from her, I hope all is well, I blocked her, right? So she sent me a screenshot after that. I didn't get it. So I said, hey, what screenshot are you talking about? She's like, oh, well, if you don't know, then, it's not a big deal. I just might as well talk about it, right? So I'm like, yo, what are you doing sending screenshots to my family and asking about why I don't want to talk to you when I told you that you're just not smart enough to be with me? That's why, like guys, I told her that when I broke up with her. And her family and all her friends are like, that can't be the reason. No, that can't be the reason. There's got to be something else. So please, guys, I don't want anybody to call me an asshole when I say this. Like when I say that the woman's not intelligent and she can't keep up with me. I don't want anybody calling me an asshole for saying that because it's now been 4 years since I left the woman. And you see where she is in her life and her degree and all that other shit. And you see where I am. And I was trying to be nice and put this woman down nicely, but she just keeps on coming after me, guys. Until I now have to record a video to the entire world and say, you know what, Stephanie, you're a cool woman. You're just not that smart. You make a good friend to some other nigga that's not me. But I don't want to communicate with you or talk to you in any capacity because you just ain't that intelligent, baby girl. There's other more intelligent women that I can relate to better. I don't know how else to say this. You know what I mean? So like I said, I'll end this video here because it's getting kind of lengthy. I remember there was one session I had with my therapist And I've been contemplating on this idea for a while. And I told I've been thinking this for a while. And I remember telling my therapist this. I said, you know what, Ms. Gundy, I think that feminism is a cancer in the Black community. And after I said that, guys, I did like this. I kind of like flinched like this, right? And you guys have to understand, the reason why I flinched like that, even though my therapist and I, this is a virtual session, by the way. This is not like in person. And my therapist has never hit me. She's never verbally berated me, right? Guys, that's a visceral response, me doing like that, because, you know, let me explain to my non-melanated friends. Oftentimes in the Black community, when your woman, you know, I mean, I've seen other races of women do this, but it's really more prevalent in the Black community. When you say something to your girl that she don't like, that's true, she'll hit you, right? So, like you guys have to understand that I'm talking to a woman that's supposed to help me, that's supposed to heal me, but she's a Black woman. But because she's a Black woman and I see her and I said something that I feel might trigger her, even though she's never verbally berated me or hit me or whatever, and even though we're visceral, it was a body reaction to do like that because I was expecting somebody to like hit me, right? From like years and years and years of Black women all around me, that when you tell them something that's true that they don't like, they hit you, or they yell at you, or they tell you to shut up or quiet your mouth or whatever, even though what you're saying is true. And guys, the ultimate vindication that I received from my therapist after I told her that, she smacked her hand down on the table and she said, honey child, don't get me started. And guys, like, I think that was maybe like 20 sessions in or something. And like, my therapist and I have rapped about a lot of life issues and talked about things, right? And so one of the biggest things is that, guys, I have been open with her about all of my relationships and the problems I've had with them. And she's given me feedback on them. And so the good thing about it is that she's told me, she's like, there's so many times. As a matter of fact, there's a woman that I recently just kind of had to end things with in a very not violent, but not as peacefully as I would have liked, right? But things are ended. So, hey, I'm good to go now, ladies. All the ladies that have been collecting your numbers, I said I'll hit you up later. That chapter is now finally closed. Y'all be hearing from me soon. But anyways, so I would tell my therapist about, you know, some of the women that I've dated, situations I've been in, and the most recent woman I was with. And, you know, my therapist was like, you know, Clinton, you know, sometimes I'd be sharing like a male perspective on a relationship problem, right? And she would say, wait, hold on. And she would like write down notes. She's like, this is very interesting because, you know, my female clients, you know, they say this is their perspective, right? But she was like, Clinton, like, I wish you could share your perspective with them, right? Like, I wish you could tell them your side of the story, how it is from a man. Case in point, right? Like I said, even though I was busting my ass trying to do this trading stuff and I was feeling cocky and stuff like that, right? Like at the end of the day, in my heart, I wanted to make all of that money and do all that shit for her. You know what I'm saying? Not like specifically for her, but I didn't want to spoil her with it, right? Then when she left and said, you're no fun anymore, I'm just like, yo, you left me at my lowest moment. So now why would I ever give a fuck about you? You know what I mean? Like, and the thing about Stephanie is that, guys, she would come home crying from work every single day. Like, because, oh, things are so hard, things are so mean, ooh, people are so mean to me. Like, guys, like, every day she'd come home crying, and I was always there to console her. And this is even after she left me. And I knew and guys, like, that's part of the reason why I couldn't marry her, because I'm like, I can never trust that you're not going to leave me. And that's a trigger for a lot of men. If you leave a man when he's at his lowest, he's never going to be able to fucking trust you. He's never going to be able to, because like, guys, I'm not even going to lie. Like, you know, the only thing I do want to apologize is I want to apologize for dragging that relationship out longer than it should have been. Because truthfully, I should have dropped her after she left me like that. I should have dropped her. I should have. That, like, looking back on things, I'm like, I should have, right? For who I am and everything that I have going for me and everything I've accomplished and where I'm going in life, I should have dropped her. When she left me, I should have dropped her. And there was recently another woman that I dated, and she left me at my lowest moment, and I dropped her ass too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that is a trigger for me. You know what I'm saying? It's because I don't drop people at their lowest moment, right? Because, again, and I'll try and finish up this story. Like, you know, Stephanie was depressed. She had to leave work, all of this shit. And I was there for her through the entire time. And she wasn't doing what she was supposed to, like, to study and, like, actually learn the skills. She was just sitting around, just crying, depressed all the time, crying about how she couldn't get into the cybersecurity industry. And I kept telling her, why don't you learn some skills so that when you show up to the interview, they actually have something to fucking work with? And she's like, no, that can't be the only way to get into the industry. I'll find another way. I'll tweet my way into the industry. And that's what she did. She tweeted her fucking way into the industry. You know what I'm saying? You have somebody who doesn't know what Trend Micro is, doesn't know how to VPN works, but they're entrusting them to secure the credit card information at this nationwide chain. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem with our industry. Like, yes, I know we're short-staffed, but like, when I see stuff like that going on in the industry, I'm like, what the fuck, guys? What the fuck are we doing here? And so that's part of the reason why I quit the industry temporarily, because I plan to come back with a vengeance and fix some of these problems. I plan to fix some of these problems. I'm working on setting up my own cybersecurity company that's going to address a lot of these problems, right? Because even at my last job, Booz Allen, right? I quit my last job because, long story short, my manager was like, hey, you're really smart, but I want you on my team because you're a smart performer and you make me look good, but I actually don't want to listen to any of the fucking feedback you give. So I'm like, then why the fuck am I working for you and making you rich, nigga? Like, I'll just fucking quit and start my own company, nigga. I don't need you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck, nigga? So, anyways, guys, this is a very, very long rant, but, you know, again, this is just freestyled, so there's no, like, you know, rhyme or reason to this or whatever. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. But I just want to end on this, right? The word narcissist no longer works on me. I don't care who you are, where you're from, whatever. The word narcissist no longer works on me, right? Like, I have the accolades to back up every single fucking thing I say. When I puff my chest out and I say I'm that nigga because I'm a humble person and I've had God smack my ass down, I know I'm saying that because I actually have put in the work and I actually do have everything to back it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've won a Black Engineer of the Year award. I was part of the team that won the Bea Award at Booz Allen, you know? Like, you know, the BEA Award. Bea is for Black Engineer of the Year, right? But yeah, for the BEA, the Booz Allen Excellence Award, right? It's like a team, I think it was like 22 of us or 24 of us out of a company of 22,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this Fortune 80 pharma was down and couldn't make life-saving medication, guys, let me tell y'all, we'd walk in the boardroom and see, hey guys, we recommend this. They were like, whatever the cost, get the shit running. There are people that need to live. That's the mindset we were in, guys. At any cost, however many hours we need to work, this company is making life-saving medication. Get their shit online. That's why we're working 14+ hour days, guys. People were counting on me and the other motherfuckers too. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a one-man team here. This was a team fucking effort. It wasn't me by myself. Like, this video, I mean, I don't speak for anybody else, so excuse me if it seems like I'm trying to take credit for it, but like, I don't speak for anybody else but myself, so I can only tell this shit from my perspective, right? But guys, it was a team fucking effort of like 20 motherfuckers. And we got this shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we did that shit. So when I see somebody like Stephanie, who literally just the other day was talking about, oh, I'm lost in the industry, I don't even know where I want to go, and blah, 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 and I see her follower count. And then I'm like, when shit actually hits the fan, who are they gonna call? Me or you, nigga? You know what I'm saying? When shit actually hits the fan, who are they gonna call? Me or your tweeting ass? I guess if they need live coverage of what's going on, they need somebody to tweet about it, they'll call your ass. But they won't call, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe then they'll call you. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just end this video here, right? I really, really hate it when people fuck with my intelligence and try to make it seem like I'm crazy or I'm unhinged when I'm not, right? I'm not unhinged. All I do is react to people and, you know, their bullshit, basically, right? And I don't always react to people and their bullshit, right? But what I find is a lot of people will throw stones and then put their hands behind their back and say, oh, no, 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 I didn't throw any stones. That's who Stephanie is. She's been tweeting and talking shit about me. And like, here's the thing, guys. She would even tell good stories about me, about how good of a boyfriend she was, right? And then people would respond back and say, oh, it sounds like the guy actually loved you. If he did that for you. And then she'd be like, yeah, he did. Like she's reminiscing on the shit, right? I'm like, yeah, how about you actually heal as a woman and then go find a man who actually wants to be with you? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, guys, I'm done talking about the topic of narcissism, and I'm not accepting anybody else calling me a know-it-all or arrogant or whatever, or cocky, because I do have the results to back up my shit. I talk a lot of shit, guys, but I back it up. I don't talk shit without backing it up. So anyway, guys, hopefully you understand that this video was supposed to be more informative than hate-filled, but the reason why I wanted to detail this video like this is because there's a lot of men who have been in shitty relationships with women like Stephanie, right? And they need to understand that if your woman is causing this psychological burden on you and she doesn't listen to you, she doesn't value your guidance, she thinks she can do things her own way better than you, drop her. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to call. So like the people on my Instagram who think that I hate women because like I'll say drop the bitch or, you know, whatever. Like I listen to a lot of gangster rap. So I get my, the way I speak and all that stuff like that from them, right? So like, for example, a lot of times, like with some women, like they deserve to be popped, right? Like just like 50 Cent said, yo, bitch, get out of pocket. She needs some discipline. You know what I'm saying? So for example, right, that right there, bitch, get out of pocket. She needs some discipline. Off the track, In My Hood by 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like one of my favorite little lines right there, right? But it's like, yeah, you get out of pocket. You talking fresh. You're not listening to me. You think you know everything or whatever. Bitch needs some discipline. You know what I'm saying? Either by dropping her or popping her. And you know, hey, we don't get domestic violence charges. I've never put my hand. Actually, you know what? Well, I'll save this story for another, because Stephanie has tweeted about this. Just like Chris Rock said, I'll never hit a woman, but I'll shake the shit out of her. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll never hit a woman, I'll shake the shit out of her. I'll tell you the story of the time that I had to shake the shit out of a woman. But anyways, who she even admitted she needed to be shaking the shit out of, right? But anyways, yeah, guys, that's just everything. You know, I don't even know how to end this video, but I just want to say thank you for listening. Hopefully people now know my side of the story, and also you know a little bit more about narcissistic women. So one of the things that I want to do is actually launch an Instagram channel sharing my, you know, like I said, I wouldn't call myself a retired player. I'm trying to get back into the game. You know what I'm saying? I just ended a situation. So like I said, I'm gonna hit back. I'm gonna hit some people up. But there's a lot of nuggets of wisdom that I've learned from dating and things like that that I've shared with my therapist, and she thinks that it's important to share as well. Again, she doesn't endorse everything I say. I'm not gonna say she co-signs it. I'm only gonna share my life experience with you guys in hopes that it spares other people the turmoil that I've been through when it comes to dating and relationships and shit. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening, and I hope you guys learned something, and take care. Peace.